Hello, welcome to Show Me Tech Tips, and in today's video I'm going to show you how you can add and subtract using Excel. It's going to be a beginner's guide. You will be able to see in the description below that there's a link to a file. You can download it, make a copy yourself and follow along as we go through. Let's get started. Okay, so we're going to start with subtracting. So it sounds like it's straightforward, but there's a few things to watch out for. So let's go through. So I'm on subtraction sheet 1. You can see I've got two columns, sale price and wholesale cost. So a classic thing I might want to do is work out the amount of profit I get for each item. So the first way I'm going to show you how to do it is kind of the way that people often do it, and then I'm going to hopefully show you a way that you agree is slightly better. So here I'm going to make this column profit. I'm just going to literally type it in and Excel will pop that in. I'm going to center the heading. We're going to home and center. And then I want to tell Excel that I wanted to do a calculation. So you probably already know that to do that we have to press the equals key. If I press the equals key, it tells Excel to basically go into formula mode, and therefore it will accept a formula. So very simple. I want this cell and I want to take away this cell. So I want the sale price and take off the wholesale price. And when I press return, you can see that Excel accepts that, and you can see it has correctly calculated the difference between those two prices. Now you probably already noticed that the other thing is the formula has appeared up here in the formula bar. That's always useful to see. You can see that Excel color codes it to try and help you, but you'll also notice that the rest of the rows here are blank. So how do we get the rest of the rows filled out in this set of data? Well, there's two ways of doing it. So the first way I'm going to do it, which again is a common way that people often do it, you see I've got a big fat cross and I want to change that into a little skinny cross. I'm doing it by, you can see there's a little green square and I'm just hovering on that green square. And you can see it changed from a big fat cross to a little plus sign. I'm going to press the left mouse button and drag all the way down, and you can see all the rows then get filled in with the correct calculation. So that's a very common way of doing it, and it's okay if you've got a basic set of data. However, I want to show you an alternative which hopefully you will find more useful. So if we go to subtraction sheet 2, we've got exactly the same setup. So again, I'm thinking I want to subtract to work out the profit. Before I do that, I'm actually going to tell Excel that this is a table of data. Now you might think that's obvious, but Excel likes it to be in what's called an Excel table. It allows it to sort of work a bit more efficiently and helps you and anyone else who looks at the sheet to see what's going on. So to do that, all I'm going to do is highlight the data and I'm going to go format as table. Now this is more than just change the way that the table looks, it actually changes the way that Excel operates. Now when you click on this little arrow here, you get all the options of how you want it formatted. Now some of these are okay, some of these look less desirable, but obviously you can choose. The light one is kind of the classic, and it'll ask you basically, is this the data you want to turn into a table? Which of course it is, we've highlighted it, and just double check that you've got the ticked my table as headers. What that's asking is, have your columns got headings? And you can see I've got a sale price and wholesale cost there. So yes, I have got headings at the top of my columns. So I'm going to click OK. Now you'll notice straight away the formatting's changed slightly. I've got the stripes, which can be useful if you're reading across. I'm actually going to get rid of those stripes by going back up to table styles and just clicking the first option. So it looks very similar to how we had it before. So you might wonder why I've done that, but let me show you why. When I click profit, first of all you'll notice that it centered it straight away for me. But now when I do the formula, I'm going to do equals. I'm going to click on the first box. Notice how Excel calls that sale price. It's using my column headings, which makes it much easier to follow what I'm doing. Take away wholesale cost. So if someone else came to use my formula, they could see where I'm getting that information from. Now again, with a 2-column table, it might be pretty obvious, but if you had a 10-column table, it's good practice to use a table format so you can see which columns are being subtracted. So when it gets more complicated, it's easier for someone to come along and see what you've done, or for you to go back, revisit it in a few months' time, and remember where these values are coming from. Now when I press return, you'll see I didn't have to do any dragging down. Straight away Excel knew what I wanted to do, and it filled all the values in for me straight away. So you may think to yourself, well, it's not making much difference, but it's all about getting into a good habits and good practice for when you use more complicated tables. So another option you might want to do, just to finish off with subtraction, is you may decide you want to take away an extra figure. Let's say you've got a delivery cost that's always £5 or $5. So if I go back to the sheet 1, and I might say, well, when you've done the sale price, take off the wholesale cost, and then also take off a further $5. Now when I do that, you can see it has done that, but notice, because I'm not in a table, it's only done it for the first row. This second one hasn't, and that's a common mistake people make. They alter the first row and assume that Excel is going to do the rest of the row, but it doesn't. It only sticks for the first row if you don't in this format. So in order to fix that, I would have to double click in the corner, and I'd have to remember to do that to get Excel to make all the changes. You can see now all the changes have gone through. Let's compare that to when it's in a table. I take off 5, and notice how all the prices get updated with that take off 5. So again, that just makes it slightly more efficient. Okay, let's now move on to the addition. So again, I'm going to show you two different things here, using some of the things that we've just done, and obviously relating to addition though. So I'm clicking on addition sheet 1. Let's have a look at this sheet. We've got 4 columns: wholesale price, delivery cost, advertising cost, and a miscellaneous charge. So what I want to do is work out the total cost of these items. So imagine I'm buying some sort of widget, there's a delivery cost involved, an advertising cost involved, and a miscellaneous cost may or may not be involved. So again, I've just set this up. Now it's not a table at the moment, it's just data. So remember, I'm going to turn it into a table to start with. I'm going to highlight the table. I'm going to go to Home, Format as Table, and then I'm going to select Light, click OK, and I'm going to take off all the styling. So now again, I've got this set up as a table. So the first thing I'm going to do is make a new column, total cost. Okay, so I'm going to try and find the total cost. So I'm going to click equals to put the formula in. I'm going to press the equals, otherwise it's not going to work. I'm going to click the first box on the first row, press plus, in the second box, or second cell as we call it, press plus, because I want to then add the third one, press plus. Now I want to get miscellaneous one in, but it looks weird because Excel's sort of over typing the box with the formula. That can be a problem, and part of that problem is because we've got it as a nice big font so you can read it. But one way of getting around that is to click on a box close by, so I'm going to click on the one underneath it and press the up arrow so that it enters miscellaneous. I can see it's put in the miscellaneous there. So again, I'm going to press enter, and then we've got all the costs. Okay, let's look at the last thing I'm going to show you, which is an alternative. So we've got another choice of how you can add things together in Excel. So let's click on the addition sheet 2. So this is, you've got your wholesale prices, your delivery costs, your advertising costs, and your miscellaneous, just like we had before. And again, I want the total cost. Now this is already formatted as a table. I did that. I can see that from the little filter arrows. I can tell you it's already in a table. And now what I'm going to do is, instead of using the plus, I'm going to use the sum. So that's a formula. So I'm going to press equals and then type the word sum. You can see it's being suggested here. So again, I can press tab, and you can see it puts the formula in it and puts an open bracket. And now you just have to tell it which numbers you wanted to add up. So I could highlight them all. And what Excel is saying here is the table, and this has been randomly called table 46, wholesale price to miscellaneous. In other words, every column between wholesale and miscellaneous. So if I press return, you can see that it's got the total cost. Let's just make it slightly nicer formatting. So I'm going to go home, currency just so it looks nicer. Now if I decided I didn't want the miscellaneous cost, I only wanted, say, the wholesale price and the advertising costs, I only wanted two, and they're not next to each other, watch how I would do that. Let me delete that, press equals to start it over again. I'm going to press sum, press tab. Remember, I've got to make sure I've got that bracket there. And then I can click on wholesale price and I can put comma and then say I want advertising. So you can see it's just going to add those two up. So often people tend to use the sum version when you've got consecutive columns that need to be added together, but you can actually mix and match it as you wish, whichever you prefer. So hopefully you found this helpful, and if so, click on the like button and consider subscribing to the channel for more tips on how to use programs like Excel. And this has been Show Me Tech Tips.